God, we ask simply that the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts might find acceptance in your sight. Amen. I remember last year beginning the reflection with the word hibernophobia. And hibernophobia, as we said last year, is an anti-Irish sentiment that may refer to or include oppression, bigotry, persecution, discrimination, hatred, or fear of Irish people as an ethnic group or nation, whether directed against Ireland in general or against Irish immigrants and their descendants in the Irish diaspora. Now, hibernophobia was a real and powerful sentiment. It remains today mostly as a caricature that's mocked and dismissed. This afternoon, the wearing of green, fake accents, pretending to be Irish at home, in a pub, in a parade, is a sign that we do not acknowledge the power of something that was once offensive. The power of hibernophobia disappeared because those to whom it was applied refused to be bound by it. The Irish and those who supported the Irish refused to give truth to a lie. This week, the world was shocked by a stark manifestation of Islamophobia. And this is part of the statement by the United Church of Canada. It has been reported that this heinous attack in New Zealand was perpetrated by a white nationalist with an anti-immigration manifesto. The hate, racism, and xenophobia underpinning this attack does not exist in isolation. According to recent data on hate crimes directed toward racial, religious, and other minority groups, crimes against Muslims in Canada were up 151% in 2017. Black and Jewish communities also had disturbing increases of 50% and 63%, respectively. The tragic attack in New Zealand claimed the lives of many racialized immigrants. The United Church of Canada, therefore, reaffirms its commitment to racial justice, engaging in interfaith dialogue and speaking out against violence and discrimination rooted in racial superiority, including Islamophobia. The lies that lay at the heart of hibernophobia and now lie at the heart of Islamophobia rests in those who seek power over others by illegitimate means. And their power is only real if the lie is believed. Because the argument is weak, the means to deliver the message is loud, long, and intimidating. Sometimes violence is extreme, sometimes it is subtle. We cannot stop hatred. For some, it is part of a condition. We can, however, join with those who refuse to give truth to a lie or power to intimidation. Last week in our gospel lesson, we saw that Pilate used bullying tactics to intimidate Judea, mingling the blood of 18 Galileans with his sacrifices. This morning in the gospel lesson, Herod seeks to intimidate Jesus. The message is brought to Jesus by representatives of the Jewish faction that had been attempting to exert their power through lies. In the Gospel of Mark, it says, many witnesses told lies against Jesus, but their stories did not agree. In today's gospel, in the exchange between the message of Herod and Jesus, Jesus refuses to yield power to Herod. Jesus refuses to be intimidated. Jesus says, "Go and tell that fox for me." Now this expression, "go and tell that fox," is culturally significant. For us, a fox is beautiful and sly. In the culture of Jesus, a fox is a scavenger. More specifically, a fox is regarded like an hyena. They eat what a lion leaves over. A fox eats because a lion lets it. So Herod, as Jesus says, is a puppet of Rome. Later, as we come to Good Friday, when Jesus stands before Pilate, Pilate says, "You will not speak to me? Do you not know that I have authority to release you and authority to crucify you?" Jesus answered him, "You would have no authority over me at all unless it had been given you from above." Jesus is not intimidated because he refuses to acknowledge the power that Herod and later Pilate claimed to have over him. Now, of course, Herod and Pilate both fear a loss of power, and they're correct to be concerned. Their power is illegitimate. Rome is an empire encroaching on the territories of others for the sake of glory and gain, and her ambition will be her undoing. The ideology of white supremacists is based on the false notion that pigmentation is a sign of superiority. And this is a weak argument indeed. Now, when a weak ideology or a weak argument is challenged or resisted, those who hold it increase their volume. When you cannot move others on the legitimacy of your ideas, you can yield to the truth, or you can raise your voice or resort to other forms of intimidation. Gossip, name-calling, slander, obstruction, mocking, threats of or acts of violence, threats to livelihood or boycotts, verbal abuse, character assassination, manifestos filled with false claims and lies. If you're subject to this, if you're the target of such abuse, you give away your power if you yield. Now today is the second Sunday of Lent. Our overarching theme for Lent this year is letting go of that which wearies you and join Jesus in the wilderness, where you may find refreshment and restoration. And how do you let go of that which wearies you? How do you let go of falsehoods you might believe about yourself or have been told about yourself? Rita McNeil was famously shy, but said her parents helped her overcome that trait by constantly reminding her to believe in herself. She did not yield. Rita said, "You can work through all kinds of struggle, but somewhere deep down, you have to have belief or nothing is going to happen." And of course, for Rita McNeil, there was the body shame and fat hatred lobbed against her, even by those who admired her music. Such a lovely voice. Too bad she's so fat. And it must have hurt her tremendously. But Rita persevered. Even with her death, the Globe and Mail tribute to her kept mentioning that she was not attractive, a framing that Rita herself rejected. This, of course, is all a quote. This is the best part of the quote right here. The best memory of Rita McNeil happened on CBC TV's The Fifth Estate, when Eric Malling asked Rita, quote, if she might have been more successful if she were beautiful. She replied without hesitation, "But Eric, I am beautiful." And from that moment on, if not before, she was. During your journey of Lent, I invite you to consider weak arguments that you have come to believe about yourself and have come to believe about others. Some may come from childhood. Some may come from bad relationships. Some may be hurled at you still today. Beware of those who prop up their power with gossip, name-calling, slander, obstruction, mocking, threats, verbal abuse, character assassination, manifestos filled with false claims. They will take your power if you believe them. During your journey of Lent, I invite you to push back against the manifesto of lies that you may have been told about yourself or others. Go and tell that fox for me. Go and tell that fox for you. Go and tell that fox for the oppressed. Your power is illegitimate. Your words are untrue. By God's grace, I will overcome and fulfill the ministry to which I am called. Let us emerge from the wilderness time with Jesus, set free, restored, and refreshed, setting aside any lies we may have believed, having been strengthened in the truth. Finding blessing in your Lenten journey, that we may in turn be a blessing to others. Amen.